When most people talk about preparing for when the world goes sideways, whether it's economic collapse, EMP blasts, or your neighbor finally snapping over the HOA rules, they go straight to the usual suspects. AR-15s, AK-47s, or some tricked out tactical shotgun that looks like it belongs in a sci-fi movie. But today we're breaking ranks a bit. We're going to shine a spotlight on a forgotten hero, one that's been silently sitting in the background, polishing its brass and minding its business. The lever-action rifle. Yeah, that old cowboy gun your grandpa kept behind the truck seat? Well, turns out it's probably one of the most underrated survival rifles out there when the stuff hits the fan. And I'm not talking about the famous Winchester 1894 or the slick new Henrys everyone flaunts on forums. This is the lever rifle no one's talking about, but they should be. So saddle up, secure your bug-out bag, and let's talk about the lever-action rifle that'll keep you alive when the lights go out and the Wi-Fi dies. Now, let's clear something up really quick. When we say stuff's hitting the fan, we're not talking about some Hollywood-style apocalypse where you're dual-wielding SMGs while launching off a dirt bike. No, this is about the real kind of collapse, the one nobody glamorizes. Power grid failures, food shortages, widespread panic, and civil unrest. Your basic, everyday, oh crap, the system's broken and now it's up to me kind of situation. And in that kind of world, everything gets harder. Getting gas, finding clean water, staying warm, and yes, keeping you and your people safe. Your gear can't afford to be picky. That fancy rifle you bought with laser sights, night vision, and a 6-pound optic is useless if the batteries die or the electronics fry. You need something that just works. No batteries, no drama, no bull. That's why lever actions deserve a serious second look. They don't jam up if you sneeze on them. They don't care if you dropped them in the mud. They're straight up mechanical muscle. You work the lever, it feeds around, simple, clean, dependable. And unlike tactical rifles that scream militia prepper or please confiscate me, a lever gun blends in. It looks like Grandpa's old hunting rifle, which, in a post-apocalyptic world, is exactly what you want. There's also the psychological factor. If you're trying to lay low, drawing attention with a rifle that looks like it belongs in a video game is not smart. But carry a lever gun and suddenly you're just another guy trying to shoot deer and mind your business. And that could be the difference between someone leaving you alone or trying to take what's yours. We're not saying toss your ARs or AKs because those have their place, but don't sleep on the lever action. It's low profile, high functioning, and built like a tank from an era when things were made to last. When the power's out, the streets are quiet, and your survival depends on what's in your hands, you'll want something that works every time, no questions asked. And that dusty old lever rifle just might be the unsung hero you didn't know you needed. Okay, so here it is. It's the Marlin 336 and 3030 Winchester. This is the best stuff's hitting the fan lever rifle nobody's talking about, at least not enough. Let's get the obvious out of the way. Yes, the Marlin 336 has been around since the 1940s, and yes, it looks old school, and no, it doesn't have a bunch of Picatinny rails for lasers, optics, cup holders, or whatever the hell else you want to mount on a rifle these days, but hear me out. The 3030 cartridge has been putting meat on the table and bad guys in the ground since 1895. It's powerful enough to take down deer, black bear, and even people with bad intentions, yet soft enough on recoil that your shoulder won't hate you by the end of the day. The Marlin 336 is compact, relatively lightweight, and built like a tank. It's got a side ejection port, unlike the top eject Winchester, so you can mount a scope if you want to go fancy. And it has a solid steel receiver, not some tacked-on alloy nonsense. We're talking blue-collar muscle here. Need to quietly harvest game in the woods without sounding like a small war broke out? Well, the Marlin's lever action is way quieter than a semi-auto rifle clanging away with every shot. Plus, reloading is intuitive. It's like feeding a Pez dispenser that kicks like a mule. One round at a time through the loading gate and you're back in business. It's simple, no fuss, and it works every time. No fancy parts to break or batteries to die on you, just pure, reliable power that has stood the test of time, making it the perfect rifle to depend on when things really hit the fan. Whether you're hunting or defending your patch, this gun won't let you down. Some folks scoff at 3030 and call it outdated, but I call it brilliant, and you want to know why? Because when the world's losing its collective mind and everyone's running to Walmart for 5.56 and 9mm, there's a good chance the hunting section still has 3030 collecting dust behind the counter. It's not sexy, it's not military, but that's the advantage. Plus, 30-30 is an ideal middle ground round. It's not overkill like 308 and not underpowered like 22LR. It's accurate out to 200 yards, plenty for hunting, self-defense, and discouraging unfriendly visitors. And since it's a soft point round by default, you're not violating any hunting laws about FMJs if you need to live off the land. Think about it, a rifle that can defend your home and feed your family. That's the kind of dual-purpose utility we like in a stuff's hitting the fan planning. It's not just a gun, it's a survival tool. The 30-30 offers enough punch to take down medium-sized game without destroying the meat, which is a huge deal if you're relying on your harvest for food. It also has manageable recoil, so you can shoot accurately even after a long day. And the ammo itself tends to be affordable and relatively common compared to more specialized rounds. In a tough situation, having ammo that's easier to find can be the difference between getting a meal or going hungry. All things considered, the 30-30 cartridge is a quiet giant in the survival world, ready to step up when everything else lets you down. Also, when society breaks down, there won't be any gunsmiths offering same-day service. You need a rifle that works without being pampered or needing high-tech fixes. The Marlin 336 is a mechanical masterpiece with fewer moving parts than a semi-auto and easier field maintenance than you'd expect. No gas systems to clean, no buffer tubes, no tiny springs that go flying across the room when you take it apart, just good old-fashioned American engineering built to last. Even people who aren't gun experts can figure it out. Pull the lever, load a round, shoot, rinse and repeat. There's no intimidating learning curve, no complicated malfunction drills, no tap rack bang nonsense you might see with modern semi-autos. If you can operate a stapler, you can run a lever gun. That simplicity means fewer mistakes and less time fumbling around when every second counts. Plus, because it doesn't look intimidating or tactical, you're less likely to raise eyebrows from neighbors or law enforcement. In a time when carrying anything that looks like military gear might get you unwanted attention, the Marlin 336 flies under the radar. It's reliable, easy to use, and won't make you the center of a neighborhood watch drama. When things get tough, this rifle is the quiet, dependable partner you want by your side. Now, if you're the kind of person who likes putting a red dot on everything, even your toothbrush, don't worry. The Marlin 336 isn't stuck in the Stone Age. You can still give it some modern upgrades without losing what makes it great. You can put a scope or a red dot sight on it thanks to the side ejection design. There are also sights called ghost rings from XS sights if you want to aim faster. You can add rails to attach slings or other gear and even get special wraps for the lever or soft pads for the stock to make shooting a little bit more comfortable. If you want to go all out, you can add a side saddle for extra ammo and even change the stock to make it look a little bit more unique. If you want to make it quieter with a suppressor, that's a bit tricky and needs some gunsmithing and legal paperwork, but it's still possible. Still, you really don't have to go overboard. The great thing about the Marlin is that it works well already. Now look, I'm not saying ARs and AKs aren't good rifles. They definitely have their place and work well in many situations, but they also come with some problems that make them less than ideal for long-term survival or stuff hitting the fan scenarios. ARs are known for being a bit picky. They don't like dirt, dust, or mud. If you get them dirty, they can jam up or stop working, and they need regular cleaning and oiling to keep running smoothly. The way they work, called a direct impingement system, makes them heat up fast when you fire a lot. So if you don't have spare parts, cleaning tools, or lubricant nearby when things go bad, your AR can quickly turn into just an expensive paperweight. And let's be honest, in a real survival situation, carrying extra parts and tools isn't always easy or practical. AKs, on the other hand, are known for their toughness. They can keep working through a lot of rough conditions, but they're bulky and heavy, which can slow you down if you have to move a lot. They're also pretty loud when fired, which might not be great if you want to stay quiet and avoid attention. Accuracy with AKs is usually not as good as with other rifles either, especially at longer distances. Plus, the ammo they use, 7.62 by 39mm, isn't always easy to find, especially if you didn't stock up before ammo shortages and bans hit. So you might have a reliable gun, but no bullets to feed it. Now compare that to the Marlin 336. No fancy optics? No problem. No electricity or batteries needed? Doesn't care. You can leave it out in the rain for a week or forget it in a muddy tent overnight and just wipe it off and it'll still fire. That's the kind of toughness and reliability you want when things get real. The Marlin's simple lever action means fewer parts to break or get dirty and easier to fix if something does go wrong. It's the kind of rifle you can count on without worrying about fancy accessories or special care. In a long-term survival situation, simplicity isn't just nice to have, it's a must. The fewer things that can break or fail, the better your chances of making it through, and that's why, even with all the hype around modern tactical rifles, the Marlin 336 still stands strong as a top choice for when stuff hits the fan. Now here's the bottom line. The Marlin 336 in 3030 isn't flashy. It's not the rifle the mall ninjas get excited about. You won't see it on magazine covers next to guys with beards and night vision goggles, but it works. Every time. It's reliable, tough, and often overlooked. Perfect for real survival and not just fantasy. When things get bad and every round and meal counts, you don't want a complicated rifle that jams and needs a mechanic. The Marlin 336 just asks for a little respect. In return, it will take care of you when everything falls apart. If you want a simple rifle that can protect your home, hunt food, and stay unnoticed, this is the one. It doesn't get talked about enough, but it probably should. If you enjoyed this deep dive into a hidden survival classic, don't forget to like and subscribe for more honest gear talk. Got a favorite under-the-radar rifle or survival tip? Drop it in the comments below because I'm always curious what you trust when things get tough. Remember, in a real crisis, it's not about flash, it's about what works. Keep your gear simple, reliable, and ready to perform when it matters most. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and we'll see you on the range.